You're going to have 6 seconds of garbage at the beginning of this.
That's fine because you immediately started with the F word.
Did I?
Yeah. No, now we're recording video. Yeah, you just immediately dropped an F bomb.
Oh man, I didn't realize that.
Like, luckily, it's not on the video.
That's when you know it just comes out of nowhere. That it's become such a natural part of your vernacular that you can't help but drop that bomb.
You know what I think is cool?
I dropped a bomb on you. What?
It's not that. It's that we're back.
I know we are back. Look at us with our good-looking headwear.
Oh, man, dude, this is my running headwear. Also, my hair is so COVID long right now that I can't anymore. My hairdresser told me she is not secret. My hairdresser is also my fiance, but she told me that I am not allowed to have my hair cut until the end of the month because I requested that we cut it all off at the beginning of quarantine. And so it's my fault that it looks bad. It is, because I asked, but she's like, no, we're not cutting it again until, like,
why don't you just shave it?
This month. Because I don't want to. I like when I have hair. I like what my hair looks like.
I just say, cut my hair.
I said, excuse me, miss, would you please cut my hair? And she said, no, get bent.
Well, sucks for you.
It does.
I cut my hair anytime.
Yeah, because you just shave yours off. You're like, whatever, I'm going to shave my whole head. Me, I like to have a nice styled coif.
Hey, well, enjoy it because at least you're not balding as quickly as I am. So that's why I have to shave mine because I am just balding. I mean, look at how dumb this looks without my hat. So I put my hat on now because now I'm starting to get head shame. And
oh, no.
Yeah, where I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I don't really...
At least you don't look at yourself in the mirror and go, wow, I've have these terrible teeth because you got yours fixed, which led to problems for us.
More problems. I have my tooth. Did I show my new teeth last time?
You showed me the front teeth.
The new ones that are. Did I show the new?
No, you didn't show me the new side ones.
These right here are all new.
Oh my god! Can you pull them up? Come really close, chon, make a chon 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 noise.
See how that thing is like yellow? It's because it's my actual tip.
Oh no! Don't do that because that's what you did that ruined them before.
Right. Well, that was the other side. So these. So you see on this side?
Yes.
See, I'm missing that tooth.
Oh, man.
I used to have that over here, but I'm not anymore.
That's
so my Ghost Rider pop
stuff.
It is. My Ghost Rider popcorn tooth is been fixed permanently.
Nice.
Remember when
bro.
we went to see Ghost Rider in 2005, starring Johnny
Nicolas Cage,
starring Johnny Nick Cage. And I ate a piece of popcorn and I broke my tooth in that theater.
Yes, I do remember. Oh, cool. Hey, my software updates popped up right in front of me. I can't see anything.
That was that tooth. So I'm getting better, but then my other part of my face was starting to fall apart. So I'm on 3 different medications for that right now.
Oh,
that's
man.
great.
Your face just blew up, apparently. I wish we'd, been able to see it.
Well, that's why I think I'm looking, actually, I sort of like the way I look today.
Maybe it's because you've looked at yourself and been like, my face has a huge goiter on it, and now it doesn't.
I think that might have been it. And also, I went to Walmart yesterday and I got this hat, and it's like a back. You can't see it because everything in here is black right now.
My cat's eating plastic things. Give me a second.
No, yeah, no sweat.
Get out of it.
It's a backless hat, like one of the ones that doesn't have a strap.
Uh-huh.
I've always wanted one of those. Like, it's
Why?
a pre-fit. I don't know, because I don't like this stupid little plastic straps.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
and
cool,
I want to, but also if I sit a certain way, it actually doesn't look like a ball cap. It looks like a penis cap, like a little, I should be going to. I look like a British guy who's about to try to sell you a watch.
Are you gonna open the shirt up, like the jacket, or do you have them on a
table? I don't even have a jacket because if I'm wearing a jacket, I'm gonna open it up to show you my privates.
Cool. So I hate that. Hey, guess what? We're not gonna curse this week or try our best because we're gonna try to drop this episode, edit it, and get it out as quick as possible. But I think we should get to the actual show.
am Rance.
I'm Bob.
And this is the Quarantine Book Club. And we are in our third episode of 3 for Star Wars Sphincter of a Guy's Eye.
Man.
Sphincter of a Mind's Guy. Alan
Dean Foster.
Alan Dean Foss. ADF.
Alan Dean Foster.
Alan Dean Foster. Alan Dean Foster. Where do you put the emphasis in his name? Is it Alan
Dean Foster?
Dean Foster, or do you like
Alan Dean Foster? I think on Foster, I say it all like with
Alan Dean Foster, right?
Yeah.
Up, down, up, down.
Alan Dean Foster.
Foster, yeah.
Yeah.
Up, down, up, down. So it's a trochee and a pest. Because an I am is bump, 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 bump.
Now there's a child upstairs yelling.
That's fine.
At games.
Alan Dean Foster. Okay, I got it. I have to do it with my hand.
I want to auto-tune that and make a song out of it.
Alan Dean Foster.
Alan Dean Foster.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go, man. That's what everybody loves. That's the content they come for.
So, as we know, last time I didn't read before our previous episode, but right. I did catch up. So I am caught, and we left them. So we left Luke and Leia for our last episode after they got captured not captured, but after they were they got captured and they were they ended up getting
they escaped.
Yeah, they fell down the hole with the Wandrella, right?
Yes.
This beast called the Wandrella.
The worm.
Yeah.
The Wonderella.
Yeah, whatever it's
the One Direction.
One Direction.
The One Direction. Yeah, the One Direction.
The One Direction. One Direction.
That's about as good as this book gets.
It's all downhill from here, actually. from page like 199 on, it's all downhill, man. Like it went from being a fairly reasonably well-paced, well-written novel to being just this rush job of not good writing, and I have specific things about it that I believe were indicative of its not good writing, and some of that gets right back into what I thought was the best twist of the end of the book.
Okay.
And also what therefore was the shittiest twist at the end of the book.
You just blew it.
Crappiest twist at the end of the book. I got really passionate. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. We're so used to not censoring ourselves and then just going back and screwing up the censoring. You have a cat, and my cat is getting ready to come up. It's the Quarantine Cat Club.
It's cat's time. I think we'd better serve to just show our cats.
I'm gonna show my cat. Yeah.
But the reason that the cat's here is because there's meatballs that are on my desk.
Oh, nice. Nice. Let me see that cat. That's
cat.
A good-looking cat, bro. I'm gonna show you my cat. Come here. No. Oh, he ran away. I spooked him. Tell me some words. That's a good cat.
It's a nice looking cat.
Got a nice looking cat there,
bro.
You got
a cat.
That cat's way better than this book.
Yeah,
we constantly keep doing this to ourselves. We knew what we were getting into when we started this podcast.
So I'm gonna say, I think as a place to start, just as a conversation point, I want to talk a little bit about Alan Dean Foster's writing style.
Okay.
Between us, because I think it does merit being spoken about. And he is a writer with merit and skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
he's award-winning.
Yeah, and I think there are places in here where his prose is pretty phenomenal, and then there's just other places where it's like a completely different author writes the next chapter, where it's just legitimately bad dialogue.
He called up Daffod Abhue.
Yes, hey Daffod, I'm gonna need a help on this one, please. And I think it just goes to show the strain.
Just throw that cat. Whoop.
I think it just goes to show the strain of like writing under pressure,
right?
And also writing such an essential follow-up to a movie without any other material, because there's stuff in here that contradicts occurrences that happen later, because this becomes very quickly an unofficial sequel.
Yeah, it's not. There's stuff that doesn't. Sorry, I had to pick up my phone for a second. I have a little life thing. I have 3 children upstairs that are my stepkids, and my fiancé is at work. So of course I'm getting a check-in text. Hey, are you busy recording your stupid podcast and not watching the kids? Yes, in fact I am. That's not true. She loves the podcast and she loves me. She's very supportive of me. I was trying to make a joke, but I immediately felt guilty.
You should.
I do.
You should.
But it throws a lot of stuff at the wall. Some of it sticks, and it's funny because some of it sticks all the way into the actual series of movies.
Yes.
We got the whole sequence with the Ewoks here.
Yes.
Except for
Only they're called the Corway. What are they called?
Conways?
Conways?
Coraways?
Coways. Coways. Yes.
Coways or Coways?
This book. Yes.
C-O-W-A-Y. Coways.
Yeah. The Coways. C-O-W-A. This book actually really heavily reminds me of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Without the good parts, because it's set on this sort of sloppy, muddy, swampy planet where there happens to be a battle that takes place. And now that I'm verbalizing it, it actually doesn't have very much comparison at all to Return of the Jedi.
Did you ever notice something about Star Wars that's really bothersome to me? Is that Star Wars doesn't have planets like Earth, where it's a planet where there are all of these different biomes.
They're all one kind.
Yeah, it's a frost planet or a desert planet or a jungle planet. They're always like, it's the forest planet of the forest moon of Endor. It's the ice planet of Hoth. And in all of the extended media that's still canon, like all of that, it's all still a planet of one environment. And it's so specifically Star Wars that it's cool, but at the same time, I'm like, I could tell stories on one planet.
I think that's great for the 1970s into the 1980s NES era, because this stuff really translates well to being like cool levels. Like here's the level
ice world.
Level 4-1, 4-2, and 4-3, the ice world, right? But then after that, you got to go to the desert, the Egypt planet. Sounds a lot like Super Mario Brothers 3, but I think we should call it Super Mario Brothers.
Dude, my sidetracking. My stepson discovered the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Nope.
It's not good, and it's almost, I would say,
unwatchable.
It's unwatchable and blatantly racist towards people of Italian descent.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
It's just full of stereotypes. Back in the day, we thought creating a character for kids meant just using a racial stereotype or a nationality stereotype, and it's not cool, man.
Well, it's also super,
and they also don't include the Zelda episodes.
Hey, this is the this is the Quarantine Book Club special on the watch one episode, talk about one episode of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Thanks for joining us. That might be better than reading more Alan Dean Foster. Please, Kat, get away from me.
Okay, so we can sum this up pretty quickly.
Yep, I got you back. I got you back on that too. If you need.
Okay, are we going to sum it in the 30 seconds, or do you want me to just go and then you'll fill in the extra stuff? Because it's pretty quick.
I sort of have one in my head of a summary. So
do you want to do the summary? If you're ready to go,
I'm happy to do so.
So
Luke and Leia get away from the Wandrella, and they have to go to the Temple of Pujimba. The Temple of Pujimba.
It's fine. Great.
The Temple of Pajiba. Temple of Pajamas. The Temple of Pajamas. They have to go to the Temple of Pajamas to get the Kyber crystal. And on when they get there, they encounter that high supervisor, inquisitor, Walmart manager Grammel is actually under the employ of one and only who?
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, of course, because we knew Darth was going to show up somewhere. Yeah. And they happen to call him really frequently. He's described as the Dark Lord.
Yeah,
which is, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was called Lord Vader.
Yeah.
But I don't actually remember at any point where he's called the Dark Lord, right?
Right, and they didn't
But in the book, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
he's Dark Lord Vader everywhere, and I'm like, this isn't Harry Potter.
There's also no Emperor in this either. Like we have no. Granted, there was no Emperor really in A New Hope.
No, can we also talk really quick at some point about how I hate the rule of 2? I love it, but I hate it.
Oh, it's dumb
such
thing.
contrived bullshit.
Thing. Yeah,
but it's actually
There's
also
another
really
one.
stupid.
Ding.
Crap. It's such contrived garbage, and it's clear that none of it was in anybody's head.
No, it's not. They were trying to limit something, and unfortunately, they just immediately they break their own rule when you go into the fact that spoiler alert, Darth Maul's not really dead when he gets knocked down the shaft by Obi-Wan when he gets cut in half, and then they introduce Count Dooku, so he's a Sith Lord, right? Dooku's a Sith Lord, so I also, by the way, nice. Not going with Lord and going with Count. I like that.
Yeah.
Count.
Cool.
I think that was a Dracula thing, right?
In space, it really matters what your land ownership is. Yeah. Whether you're Count, whether you're Duke, whether you're Baron. Like
he's both of them. He's a Count and a Dooku. He's Count Duke too.
Count Duke Nukem.
Count the number of fingers on this hand that wants to play Duke Nukem. It's none.
No, none.
It's none. We're all over the board here today.
So you find out that you find out that Grammel is of course under the employ of Darth Vader, who is also seeking to get the Kyber crystal for exactly what we predicted in the very first episode, because he too wants to expand his own power. This is, however, the first time that he encounters Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia Organa, which I love that because
not Leia. He's encountered Leia before.
Yes.
Luke, yeah.
I'm sorry, since the last movie. Well, he encounters Leia since the first movie. He had never really met Luke. He finds out that
and
Luke shot down his TIE fighter, and also that Luke was the one who dropped the Dippy torpedoes
into the Death Star. And he says that, and he's like, "You've had this coming." When he comes to when we finally get our confrontation, which
is pretty cool because it's like. That is a feeling. That is a thing you wait for, right? When is Darth Vader going to really? Because I didn't until I read this. I haven't watched New Hope in probably 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I completely forget that Darth Vader as an antagonist actually doesn't really ever encounter Luke Skywalker in the first movie.
No,
at all.
Not except for in the ships.
Yes, and he sees them, right, and that's it basically.
Yes, because Obi-Wan distracts him so he can't get to Luke. And he sacrifices himself so they can get away.
So then there's a fight.
Well, but are you talking the fight with the Coways?
Yes. And then there's the fight with Darth Vader.
Yeah,
and
because we get the Coways. First we murder several of those Coways right off the bat.
But so many Aboriginal people, as they're described,
are
murdered in this book.
Yeah, and then they just kind of go, "Hey, visitor people, if that was their fault that they got killed, that's really convenient to assuage your guilt. And if you win this fight against this other Coway, you just be our bud."
That's colonization for you.
Yeah, it's exactly what that mindset is.
That's
it's
colonization
gross.
For you. Yeah,
it's gross. So look at these cool white people that showed up. They're gonna show us what to do, man. They're gonna be good for us.
So then we get into the fight with there's the fight with Darth Vader and Luke.
Oh, yeah, because Darth Vader shows up and he
sucks.
Yeah, and they attack this whole village of natives who then are like, "Hey, we'll fight with you guys now because you won this duel, so you're our friend."
And then there's a limb that gets chopped off.
That's later, though.
Yeah, that's later. That's near the end. Yeah.
There's the fight where they send the stormtroopers in,
right?
And just like in Return of the Jedi, the Ewoks, Coways, decimate's not the right word because decimate is 1 in 10, but they devastate the Imperial troops with their primitive know-how, and leadership by the rebel fighters.
People.
Yeah.
The rebels.
The rebels.
And then Darth Vader's like, I'm gonna get in here then.
Yeah,
and then
Go ahead.
The twist that I liked was that you've got this one character, Supervisor Graham Cracker, who
General
is
Grievous.
General Grimbus, who you think is your antagonist, and he basically is your antagonist the entire book. And then Darth Vader just flies in and is like, "You're pissing me off," and just kills him like instantaneously.
Yeah, he cuts him, and the guy he goes, "Help!"
I have.
It's just sort of like one of these. He's like, "Hey, Darth Vader, I'm sorry I did bad. Please don't kill me." Help!
In fact, I want to see if I can find it where it was, because I read it and I was like, that's cool. I mean, it was neat. Oh, here we go. I told you, my lord, Grammel objected at once, angry and frightened. Their surprise was complete. I'm not interested in excuses for debacles, only successful results, declared Vader. Grammel, your existence befouls me. I
like that.
I do. My lord, Grammel babbled desperately, rising from the bench. If I, faster than a human eye could follow, Vader's lightsaber was up, activated and moving. Grammel's slashed form pitched wildly, stumbled backward, and tumbled over the side of the crawler. There was a lull as the stunned driver looked on in terror. Vader whirled, glowered down at him. We will travel faster without such dead weight to slow us, trooper. Return to your controls now. Yes, my lord, the man gulped, unable to keep from stuttering fearfully. Somehow he forced himself to turn back to the control board of the vehicle. And they just leave his corpse there. This guy who has become, who's sort of become the antagonist of the book is just left dead on the side of the road. Yeah. And that's cool. I'm cool with that. That's neat. There are people dying all over the last half of this book. Whether the people or Aboriginal people.
Mm-hmm. And there's, and when we go back into some specific stuff in here, I have some of my notes. I stuck to pretty much most of the really heinous stuff in this book.
Does any of it involve a steel kitten?
A steel kitten?
A steel kitten.
I don't.
Does any of it involve the part where we learned that we get from Princess Leia amazingly direct knowledge about the fact that she pees?
I don't remember any of that, bro.
I paid attention. Yeah, okay.
Maybe I was sleeping. or falling asleep, because so after Vader kills Grammel,
that's my motion. It's the up down.
Luke, Leia, and Hin and Ki and Hela and the
all
droids,
useless and totally forgettable characters. By the way,
they go to the Cave of Wonders.
Pajamas.
Yeah, they go to the pajama cave. They're gonna get their hot new onesies. Dr. Denton's with the feet, and
that you can poop right in, and
it rolls. It will never roll out of your leg. You'll step on it.
You just waffle stomp that thing later.
As I was saying,
you know what I found out? I found that cats, the reason they need is they have sweat glands on their toes, so they're getting their scent into things because it makes them feel comfortable.
Okay, that's cool.
Let's get back to waffle stomps, and also let's get back to Star Trek, Star Wars, Star Boys.
They fight they have a Rancor fight.
Yeah.
There's like a creature that's kind of like a Rancor that they fight.
Another completely forgettable
it just comes out of nowhere.
Fauna that I just don't remember anything about and don't care to, because I'm still amazed at the name Wanderella.
I'm lost. I read this 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I'm lost. I forget where the heck I am.
That's why I'm just hitting these main story beats, right? Like I'm just because it simplifies. It goes from being what could have been a fairly complex plot, especially with somebody like General Grammel, into being a chase for this Kyber crystal across various uninteresting obstacles, ended by a lightsaber fight that's uninteresting as well.
Yeah, which you do need a lightsaber fight, but yeah, it's not a good fight. It's not described well. And so we find out that Vader... They get the crystal, Hala is climbing up by herself for the crystal.
Luke boy, give me that
Luke
crystal.
boy, I got this crystal.
Hey,
you go fight this
boy.
Dark Lord. So,
Luke boy, fight the Dark Lord. Give me that chrisms.
As we see on the cover of the book, while all this is happening, a giant piece of rock falls on Luke's leg and traps him.
That's the big. What a crappy front of the book.
But that's what's funny is that's very true to it, and you can see on the front of the book Leia reaching down and grabbing his lightsaber.
Yeah, which I do like the references to. Now that we know in canon that Leia is Force sensitive, in fact, far more than Force sensitive, she's very Force powerful. She's a Jedi,
former Jedi who decides not to continue her training. They talk about stuff in here where they're like, specifically, she says, I have it underlined at one point. She says, I know. She interrupted him tiredly. If I were a Force sensitive, there are all these moments of like, hey, you could be Force sensitive, but don't worry about it because you're not my sister. It's okay that we kiss because you're not my sister.
And that I don't know whether that is clever misdirection or whether it's just a lack of knowledge of that was obviously where the direction of the series was going, was that Leia was going to be. Because I can't even tell you at any given point, I presume it's Return of the Jedi, when we get some knowledge that she's Force sensitive, right? At least
they drop
subtly.
They drop a hint in Empire.
What's the hint here? I just don't remember.
That when Luke leaves Dagobah and Obi-Wan and Yoda are left talking, and they're like, that kid's our last hope, and Yoda's like, dude, you're not as good at this as I am.
Not as good at this as you are, as me, my dude.
Yeah, there might be another one, my dude.
I tried to get the
try to make
the Yoda syntax.
Cool. Yeah,
I tried to get the Yoda syntax and it didn't work.
This is a way worse second book or part of the trilogy than Empire was.
It's not. Well,
Luke does cut off Vader's hand.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was surprised. So there's all of these little threads that actually end up getting used in totally. You know what this feels like to me? It feels like the way Marvel Comics fans must feel about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. Where that clearly the Legacies universe of Star Wars is no longer canon. It's not part of it. It's just alternate stories, ways to be told. But just that reminds me of the way like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is it's its own thing. It is vaguely related to the Marvel Comics universe, but they don't ever cross over.
Yeah, and it's its own universe.
And so you get these things that happen in the Marvel movies that you're like, that's a lot like this thing that happened in this thing in the comics, but it's not the same, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about that they've been able to do with that, though, is to straight up go, hey, look, we're going to do stuff that's different from the comics. Be okay with it, because it's just a different universe, and it's fine. We're going to hit all these high points that you're into, but we're not going to bash them into the ground, and we're going to change some of it just to tell a better story.
Yeah.
Because we can. In this, Leia does fight Vader with Luke's saber and gets her ass whooped. She gets slashed all over the place.
Yep.
And one of the things that I do like about this book is how evil Darth Vader is, as far as he's vengeful and he's nasty and he just plain and simply takes pleasure in doing terrible stuff, and you don't see him as a person who you could redeem after this book.
No.
I don't see him as Luke's father, which they also in this canon, in this non-canon, he's not Luke's father, and he's not part robot.
Yeah, like
when he gets his arm cut off, he bleeds.
They say but he does say there is a mention in here. That Luke says that there is way less blood than he should have expected.
I just put that up to being similar
lightsaber?
To the arm in the first movie.
Where it gets cauterized.
In the cantina there's blood. When they cut the and it isn't until after the first movie that they make it canon that it cauterizes your wounds.
True. Okay. I was taking that as the idea that Vader was far more mechanical.
and maybe it's possible that he's not totally human, but they do. There definitely is. He says there's less blood, but I mean, I'm assuming there's blood, and they have a real sort of a shell shock moment. If that's I don't know if that's
you can get shell shocked. No, you can get shell shocked by something. It's just not using that.
Vader walks and picks up his own arm.
Yeah, it's super. And that part actually I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
Vader walks over, grabs his arm, and basically just pieces out.
And then he trips. Well, he trips. Yeah.
He trips. He pieces out. He's like, later. And at the end, Luke is like, I know Vader's not dead. We'll deal with him another time.
Yeah.
Why? Because the Force told me.
I could feel him down in there. I didn't feel him die. I would have known if he died.
I can feel that Vader.
At one point, he says that after he gets the Kyber crystal energy, during his fight with Vader, he says that he matches with Vader because he says that Obi-Wan's spirit is in him.
And he says, he's like, I don't know what the old man gave me or where he went, but the old man gave me something. Or whatever it was.
It's funny because I think I remember saying something to you about how in the original the book that Alan Dean Foster wrote before this, that was the Star Wars A New Hope novelization.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi and Owen Lars are brothers.
Yes, I remember you mentioning that. Yep.
And it's also this weird thing where I wonder if it's a familial thing, where that maybe he's got a connection with Obi-Wan in this series because they're family.
Yeah.
Also, Luke and Leia. Luke dies.
Yes,
and
Luke
Hala
dies.
brings him back to life.
Very Harry Potter.
Yeah.
The end of this is immensely Harry Potter. There's, Vader being like, them having their one-off, and the Kenatite. There's an orb of light force that Darth Vader shoots at him.
Yeah.
And it's
force powers that we've never heard of.
We've never seen before, and it's called Kenatite, right?
Yeah.
Kinetic tite.
I guess so.
Kenatite. Yeah. And he shoots it at Luke. And Luke, takes it in and, surges it back at him. Right? If I'm right. And then Luke dies, and this Kenatite, sends Vader flying. And Vader's like, I've never seen such power in a child before. And I'm like, oh, cool. This is... And then he's called the Dark Lord. So this is basically transphobic J.K. Rowling all over again. But did you notice in here... remember we were talking about the rule of two.
Sorry, don't mind me snapping at my cat. Okay. He's messing around with things in my basement.
This is one of those places where, yet again, my lack of comprehensive Star Wars knowledge comes back into play. I don't know where in the canon, at what time in the canon, that the idea of the Sith as an actual word comes into play. Because it's mentioned in the book.
Yeah. I think it might be in Lucas's Bible,
okay,
because I think Alan Dean Foster worked some off of Lucas's story Bible with this, and so it's good to know that it's a term that existed, and we just never used it.
And that was one of the biggest reliefs for me in reading this was that I recognize that this phrase Sith really is a part of the canon, because I have a really difficult time in differentiating. In the accepted Star Wars canon, in recognizing what is true, legitimate, authentic canon and what is canon that Lucas sort of pulled out of his butthole and shoved into the first 3 episodes, and then was like, yeah, I totally had that. It's totally in my mind later. You guys, give me money. So Sith has always been one of those to me. So I was glad to read this book to know that the word Sith was being used to describe Vader. And it actually makes me happy as a Star Wars fan to know it's that old.
And Lucas gets a lot of hate because, let's face it, Lucas is. I don't know that he sucks. He's just spotty, man.
Yeah,
he's not. He created a thing that wasn't his original vision, I think, and everybody accepted it as their version of it. Like they were
because it was the only one they knew.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, no, I really like this other way that this could be, so I'm gonna change it in post. And then he does the prequels, and he has to make everything tie up, and he adds in all this weird crap about stuff that doesn't make sense in the movies because he just forgot.
Can we just Mad Max that shit and give us a history? Like, that's, if any movie, dude, here's, what do you say?
That's 3.
Crap. And I've said it's been the poop word the entire time. Can't we just Mad Max it all and just put a history man statement at the beginning of every movie that's in the series that's like suggesting that it's an oral history, so that way if somebody looks different, no big deal.
Yeah,
like that is my favorite. That is my absolute favorite. I'm trying to think of the right word. Like, device now is that I don't never need Mad Max to be the same dude in any movie, because this is a story being told, passed down through the ages. Maybe this is the way Mad Max looks in this story, like a hot Tom Hardy. Maybe this is what Mad Max looks like now, like a racist Passion of the Christ. Maybe this is what Mad Max looks like right now, some weird guy in a video game that was only mediocre, even though I think it was a lot better than I actually originally gave it credit for. And that's cool. Like, I don't know. I just went on a rant. Just do it right. Mad Max is done right no matter what. Except for the racism that Mel Gibson has. I love you, George Miller. You're great. Happy Feet was my favorite. Also, Babe.
Yeah,
Case in point, I went back, man, and I watched clips from Fury Road. Can we just go back to 2015 when that movie was still the shit? Because the best crap when it was still awesome. Because I mean, it's still awesome.
It is,
but man, it's such a great movie.
Every once in a while, I'll be looking for memes and like the what a wonderful day, whatever that is. The War Boy. Yeah, Nicholas Hoult will pop up, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is the one I'm using.
So good.
It's so great, and you can't like. There's
are there any Mad Max books out there?
I don't know. We should look that up.
I'm gonna look it up right now while you're talking about your next thing.
Maybe you should look it up on Audible.
Okay.
See if there's an audiobook version. Also, your face just got really bright because your screen got really bright. There it went. But so Lucas,
there's a novelization.
A novelization of.
There's
Mad
a novelization of the first film, the second film, and Beyond Thunderdome. There are novelizations of the Mad Max movies. We might need to change our. Might need to change our plan for next week.
Whoa! Just now, are they audible?
I'm gonna check right now as we're going.
Man, because if we could do a 360 right here, that would be 180. That would be 180.
Oh, the website. The website I found this stuff on though is hilarious.
Hey, I'm gonna show off my cat now.
Okay, go for it. Please do.
He's my cat. This is Marco.
Let's see.
He's
Mad
a good
Max.
boy. He doesn't want to look at you right now. Hi, bud. Oh, man. He's my favorite. His name is Marco Dingus Cowcat of House Bad Breath.
I love you, Marco Dingus Cowcat. I don't think there are any. I don't think any of these are audible per se.
So we should save them.
Yes.
And keep with our plans for next week.
Yes.
But we should definitely look into these novelizations. I like that plan a lot.
I do too. Okay, so there are obviously there are there are comic books, but yeah, we're gonna read novelizations of Mad Max, man, at some point. Oh, look at that cat licking at you.
My cat just loves to lick.
I wish we could talk more about the plot of this, but we've actually already covered.
That's the whole plot, bro.
It is a very compressed series of action. After they escape the Wandrella, they go to the Temple of Pajamas.
They get into some fights with the natives.
Get into some fights, and then the end of the book is very abrupt. Darth Vader's gone but not gone, and they're like, all right, see ya.
Luke uses the crystal, heals everybody.
Yes, there's the Force healing, though. Force healing is present in this.
Vader off screen kills off Hin and Ki.
Yeah. And
one of them comes back during the final fight.
Just for a second.
Isn't that how Luke gets freed?
Yeah.
Because it
is it Hin or is it Ki? I can't remember.
I don't know.
It lifts the leg.
It lifts the rock off his leg. He climbs out, and then it dies. And he talks about how it had a terrible wound in its face or head.
His personal Chewbacca just
man.
comes by and goes, and just lifts
that actually
it off
sort of makes me sad, because when I was thinking about my future my sequel to this, I got really sad that I couldn't use Hin and Ki.
So let's actually talk, though, about that. That, to me, was the big thing I wanted to discuss this week, was we end this book with possession. There was possession of the Kyber crystal.
Yes.
Clarify for me if you can remember what happens with the Kyber crystal at the end, because I just honestly can't remember. Do you?
She gives it. I'm pretty sure she just gives it to Luke, and he's like, "Yo, I got this crystal now." And she's like, I'm a charlatan. I couldn't do anything with this crystal. You need it. And he's like, wow, now I'm just more powerful, I guess.
So he becomes the sole possessor of this object of great power.
Yeah.
Clearly Vader is still alive. So we know for a fact that the third story would involve Vader seeking to develop a force to come after Luke to get that Kyber crystal.
Can before we go there, line on the very last page of the book where we talk about Lucas having ideas about things previously. I think the conversation, there's a creepy line in here. Vader shuts down the droids.
Yes. Yeah, he tells them to shut themselves down, right? He gives them the command to...
C-3PO says, we couldn't escape him. He knew all the proper code words and commands. I tried to warn you, sir, but we couldn't. Wouldn't you think that the code words, like code words to shut down, I don't know, say a droid that has a bunch of rebel secrets on it? Like, remember how he had all of the secrets to like get into the rebel base and stuff like that? You're just gonna leave that out for somebody to find. But the dude who made that robot, he made C-3PO, but he would have known R2-D2.
Yeah.
If you're going by original canon.
Right.
So
it's almost in a way like in a my face just did a weird thing. I just want to
Dude, that's
it's
cool.
actually
My cat's knocking stuff over.
It's a little messed up because what it almost suggests to me is that let's say this is based in the world in which C-3PO was made.
Yes.
Right. By Vader. By
Vader.
little boy. By little bit boy. That did Darth Vader erase that part of himself from C-3PO?
No, he doesn't. Like, I don't remember how it Obi-Wan, I think, gives them an erasure before he sends them off. Or no, he sends them off with super awesome Jimmy Smits.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And
that's right.
Jimmy Smits says we're going to erase them. But he only erases C-3PO. He doesn't erase R2-D2.
R2-D2, right. Because R2-D2 can't directly, interface verbally, I guess. I don't know.
But other people
they all know it. They all know how to talk.
They all know what he's saying.
You're right, though. That is a little creepy, and it is this little hint of... You could delve more into that and be like, oh, why did he know all the right words and commands?
Well, we know now. We know.
But also... That also reaches back into Rise of the Skywalker, which, incidentally, the further I get from my first viewing of Rise of the Skywalker and the closer I get to my second viewing of Rise of Skywalker, the closer I also get to middling disappointment with Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it was,
even though
I had theater, one of the few movies where I had theater tinted glasses.
Yeah, when you saw it, and you were like, "Oh, cool! I dig how simple and straightforward this is."
Yeah. Except, you know what? Except for the fact that it's on one planet or not on one planet, kind of a lot like this book, where it's just sort of like, "Oh, we're gonna throw everything at the wall."
This remind you in a way? Did the splinter of the guy's anus, the sphincter of the guy's anus, remind you a little bit of the Sith holocron that's used in Rise of Skywalker, or whatever, the Sith holonavo?
There's a lot of MacGuffins and this and that.
Objects of great power that have capital letters at the beginning of their name.
Yeah, and there, the whole first kind of half of that movie doesn't even really need to exist. To be honest with you, we could have pulled a real Hobbit 3 and War of the Five Armies and just had a big movie that was like that last battle and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because that's what Jedi is. The first half of Jedi is Luke getting Han back. Then they go to he goes back to meet with Yoda. They go to set up the next battle.
Yeah.
And then they meet up on that planet, the hell, Endor, the forest moon of Endor, and then he's like, "Yo, I gotta go to the Death Star." So he's here having his fight and with the Emperor while everybody else is having their battle, and the Emperor pulls the exact same crap too. He's like, "Hey, guess what? Your friends are all gonna die down there if you don't join me, or up there if you don't join me." And the main protagonist is like, "Yo, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm better than that.
I've got an object of amazing power here, or also my heart."
Yeah, no, it's heart. They're Mati.
I'm actually really starting to get tired of that too. Right?
That my
Would
heart.
you say they're what?
Mati. From Captain Planet.
Oh yes,
He's
Mati.
our hero.
I was thinking
Gonna take
Moana.
pollution
I'm sorry.
down to zero.
I was thinking Moana. Yeah, I'm starting to get really tired of like I have a big heart. I have a will to live. Like I like characters who have a will to live, where they'll get their ass beat over and over, and just their no special ability, just their sheer stubbornness to not die is the reason that they continue to live. I love that. I think it is inexhaustible, and it's so rare. There's always a reason. There's always this deus ex machina as to why a character can stay alive through extreme circumstances. And it always translates back to being that same, more or less retelling of the biblical story of the resurrection.
Yeah.
Everything, whether you're Harry Potter, whether you're Luke Skywalker, it's all it's all really founded in Christian mythology and folklore. And I am specifically using those words because there is a distinction between theocratic teachings, theocracy, and theories of religion, and the literature from which they're derived. And the literature absolutely is myth and folklore.
Yeah.
It is literature and stories designed to establish a series of boundaries and beliefs by which people operate. And all of these stories are all founded in that exact same resurrection tale.
Yeah. No,
so,
it's
and I sort of just get tired of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I don't. It's no longer like clever or deep when you're like, hey, this is based off the tale of Jesus, like secretly. Guess what? Secret Neo is Jesus. Secret Jesus. Harry Potter is Jesus.
And you know what? Retell it. Do it in your own unique way. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with characters who die and come back, right? Like I will say, I'm gonna shout out because I just don't like him anymore. Larry Correa. I will say in the first Monster Hunter book, I think does one of the coolest. I hate giving him credit, man. One of the coolest resurrection things that affects the entire world. But then he never fucking revisits it. There's an F-bomb. I'm sorry.
That's 5.
He never revisits it, and it never matters to the rest of the series ever again. So it frustrates me. But it's this huge world-changing thing.
It is. It messes characters up mentally, and they're just sort of like, "Hey, remember this thing that happened?"
Yeah.
Well,
if you don't know what we're talking about, don't read Monster Hunter International.
You know, man, look, don't give Larry Correa money. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe steal his book.
This is a comedy podcast. We're not really saying steal his book. Steal his book, man. Like,
just don't
say that we told you to.
Steal his book.
Don't
steal his book.
But, I mean, because there's great storytelling. And you know what? There is, as we have said over and over again with these libertarian idiots, there's so much of their ideals pushed into these books, and sometimes it makes for an endearing character because they look at themselves as the underdog.
Yes.
They don't quite get the fact that in 2020, when you are a white male, a white cis male, let me go back and add, when you're a white cis het male, you're not the underdog, man. In no story are you. You're just at the most. You're a guy. You're a normal dude.
See, this is why these libertarian authors piss me off, because they start unassumingly. They start without spouting all that crap. 6. And then, I'm so sorry. And then...
I'm not editing it, man. I'm not. I'm just leaving it in there and putting it in.
No, just leaving it. It's an explicit podcast. And then they get 3 or 4 books down the line when they're doing this as the career, and they start spouting out their butt about dumb, legitimately hateful, terrible, bigoted crap. And it infuriates because I actually legitimately think that the first Monster Hunter International book is a good book. Yeah. I think it's fun. I think it's well written, and honestly, it's not filled with anything but characters doing dumb libertarian crap. The protagonist is a big dude who loves pit fighting and he loves guns, but he also loves being a CPA, and he's not an insufferable libertarian butthole. He just happens to have some of these ideas that are dully libertarian.
Yeah.
And he isn't bigoted, he isn't hateful. It just sucks that the author is.
Yeah, and he's
that we
not.
find that out
like
3.
The character's decidedly anti-terrible things. Like, he's decidedly anti-racist. He's decidedly, he's the good things that you would expect out of a person who espouses what being a libertarian is.
Right.
Dude, I'm listening to Cold Days because I'm going back towards, which is one of the books in Jim Butcher's Dresden Files.
Yeah.
Jim Butcher, also famously a libertarian, because I'm getting close to. He's got his release of his long-awaited next book next month.
Like 6 years at this point, right?
Yeah. He there is a libertarian conversation in Cold Days where Harry has a conversation with the Queen of Summer. Oh, sorry. She asks him if.
I thought it was going to be Michael.
No, this is weird. No, it's weird, man. Because he goes to a place called, I think it's the Magic Garden in Chicago.
Yes.
Where it's a bird sanctuary where gentlemen have clandestine gay meetings.
Yes.
And she asks him if that bothers him. And they have this whole conversation about freedom based around the idea of men having homosexual affairs. And it's so clearly like Butcher going, look, I'm just saying that you should be free, that people should do what they want as long as it doesn't hurt other people. I'm very thinly veiling my political beliefs.
So he sounds almost like Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, where he's like, if you need to dissolve the government to be gay, then do it. Like where it's not a statement about supporting gay rights. It's a statement about supporting personal freedom in a libertarian sense.
Yes,
right?
He's not saying that he's cool with homosexuality.
He says he's cool
saying,
with freedom.
I don't care because they don't bother me.
I don't care
literally
what you do
says,
in your bedroom.
That's exactly what he says. He says,
I don't care
what they do when they do whatever that is they do with other
that's
guys.
So gross, Jim,
as long as they don't come into my house while I'm doing whatever it is I do with my partner.
Wait, what, does he say that, basically?
Yeah.
You, Jim, no. Tell Dresden to stop it. I thought Dresden learned from his chauvinism and his garbage.
No, man, he is not. He might after this, and that's the thing. This book is, at this point, 9 years old almost? Because it's Cold Days, then
I think it's 2010.
Skin Game.
I think it might be 10 years old.
Yeah. So it's an old enough book that, like, I'm hoping that I go back and I'm like, hey man, Butcher's finally caught up to the times here, or we could get the long-awaited Skin Game or Peace Talks, and
be really disappointed, because who were we 10 years ago reading these books?
We were idiots, man. I will straight up admit the person I am now is so much better a person than I was 10 years ago. And I'm not saying like I was a racist or that I was, misogynistic.
But you've learned a lot.
And I understand the things that I've said or thought in the past that just weren't right thinking because of the way I was raised and that I didn't understand. Because as a human, I want to fight to be better every day.
Yeah.
And I want to fight to help the kids that I'm helping to raise be better than I am. Yeah. And that's a difficult task, but like I don't want to be a terrible person. That's why I love Luke Skywalker. I want to be the good guy. I always want to be the good guy. Right now, I can try to be the good guy. I don't know that we're always the good guy in all these stories, just because, frankly, that's the way the world is right now. But I can try to be at least one of the good supporting characters.
You can be Han.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. I love Luke. I don't want to be Han. Han's a scoundrel. I don't want to be a scoundrel. I want to start as a good guy. But I guess I got to be Han.
So let's talk about how Star Wars: A New Hope, followed by Star Wars: Sphincter of a Guy's Eye.
Yes.
How these then translate into what would you say would be the conclusion of this trilogy? Now, what would you say? I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you want to see out of a third ADF George Lucas? In this reality, Star Wars didn't really go all that well, but it sold great. It didn't go well in the movies, but it sold great as a book. So they're like, you know what, ADF, we want you to finish up this series with George Lucas's permission. Where's it going?
Okay, well, first of all,
I haven't put any thought into this whatsoever, by the way.
Me either. Do you want to start or do you want me to? I mean, I've thought of a few things.
I got some.
We need to create a title.
For our podcast?
For our book. I mean, for our
I've got a title.
All right, give me your title. Let's do this together. Let's do this as a team.
So we're working on.
We're gonna work on this together. We're a good writing team.
Okay, I don't have a title.
You can be Alan Dean Foster.
I'll be ADF.
Do you want me to be George Lucas?
Yeah, you can be George Lucas.
Okay.
I'll be ADF.
I'll be George Lucas.
So I think I would name it Naval.
I think Revenge can stay. Return of the Jedi. Maybe we should take the Revenge and we should make it be Revenge of the Dark Lord.
Well, see, you could do that. You could do that. I was going to say, actually, so mine was going to be called the Naval of the Dark Citadel. Naval specifically being like this, right?
Yes.
Because we had the Splinter, we had a New Hope, we had the Splinter, but now we have the Naval, right? So we're going to the core of the problem.
Why don't?
But we have to. The Dark Citadel, and I have some reasoning behind the Dark Citadel. So I'll talk about.
Yeah, no, I love that. I actually really love that. What about Lord of the Dark Citadel?
Lord.
Is it Darth Vader's Citadel?
Can we verbalize it though? Can we verb it? So it's like Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. So can we have like a thing that is a verb in there that makes it sound real weird?
Siege of the Dark Citadel.
See, there you go. There's the name of our third movie.
Does siege sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's an irregular word that honestly wouldn't be used appropriately in this case anyway.
Because that's one of the things about Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Such a bad title.
See, I think Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi are super strong.
No, Return of the Jedi I think is a great title.
The
Empire Strikes Back reminds me of baseball. It reminds everybody of baseball.
As a kid, I always thought it was an umpire strike.
Me
gives
too.
you a strike. Yep. You're right. Now I think about it, I'm like the Empire Strikes Back, but it's a really solid sounding title.
Yeah.
Splinter of the Mind's Eye is not a sound. It kind of like farts off your tongue.
Siege of the Dark Citadel, however.
Siege of the Dark Citadel. You think
Killer
that's good?
title. Yeah.
Okay, you don't
title.
think like maybe Attack of the Dark Citadel or
no, because we have Attack of the Clones, and I don't like that.
Oh, right. Yeah,
and Ewan McGregor laughed at that.
Dude,
he legitimately laughed.
I saw an interview with Ewan McGregor the other day where he was like, "Hey, guess what? I can tell people that I'm playing Obi-Wan Kenobi again. I've been trying. We've been in talks for this for years.
So he can actually legitimately say that he's doing it. I'm saying legitimate a lot today.
Yes, they're working on. They're working on Obi-Wan.
Dear Obi-Wan, dear Ewan McGregor, please continue providing your likeness to the now defunct Star Wars Destiny card and dice game. I would like you to officially. So I wish in card games. Do you know what the Richard Garfield rule for Magic?
No.
Richard Garfield. There's an unofficial rule, but it is absolutely accepted everywhere. You can look it up online for Magic the Gathering. If Richard Garfield himself
says
modifies your card,
modifies
your card, that card functions that way. So Richard Garfield could take like your Llanowar elves and make it a 100/100 creature with a Sharpie and sign it, and that is now a 100/100 creature. Mm-hmm. I want Ewan McGregor to take the Obi-Wan Kenobi card, which is my favorite hero card from Star Wars Destiny. Really good card and dice game that's now defunct. Thanks, Fantasy Flight Games,
Thanks for
idiots.
ruining every game, Fantasy Flight.
I really appreciate it. You killed Netrunner, then you killed my other favorite game, which is Star Wars Destiny. Ewan McGregor, please make your hero cost go down to 15, please. No one else is gonna know what I'm meaning by that. If you do know it, that's great. Bob knows what I mean. Just please make your hero cost go down to 15, because I really need you to. I need you to flesh out some of my other cool hero teams.
Is that your elite hero cost?
Yes, okay. He's 15. He's currently I believe he's at an 18. I believe he's been retconned to an 18. Errated to an 18. From a printed 19, I need a solid 15. Why? Because that top 3 sticks is what I need.
Bro, I was looking at those cards yesterday. I had them out on the table, and I was really sad because I have no one to play with because of quarantine.
There is 3. There are about out of the 3 people who listen to our podcast, none of them know what the past minute and a half has been, and I'm cool with that.
One of them does. There's one of them, at least, that I spoke to today. Hi, Stu. He knows about the Richard Garfield rule. I know he knows that.
Awesome.
I mean, he used to judge Magic tournaments.
Stu, if you could clarify for us if the Richard Garfield rule is actually a rule, I think it is.
Or is it something that Rance just made?
Or is it something that I just made up? Or is it something that the internet made up? Yet again, giving Richard Garfield like his godlike status for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. We are getting so off topic.
We got to get back to Siege of the Dark Citadel.
Siege of the Dark Citadel. Okay, can I start?
Yes.
I'm talking a lot today.
Wait, but you need to
feel
start
like a
it.
Human being.
You need to start it like a Star Wars movie is.
I was.
Okay.
So we get a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, right? Silence. Then, there it is. I wish I could have it, but I don't have it on my soundboard. So we get the scroll.
Can't use it anyway.
The sound. Oh yeah, because George Lucas is terrible. So we can use the other one.
That's Disney.
Disney's terrible. We get the scroll, and the scroll comes up, and I'm just making this off of my pants. So it says, Part 6.
Right.
Siege of the Dark Citadel. And it says, Luke is on the run. Skywalker and his friends, now in possession of the only known kyber crystal in the Outer Rim, because now they're in the Outer Rim.
Yeah.
Are fleeing from an elite force of Sith troopers and soldiers sent after them by the Dark Lord, Darth Vader, to repossess the kyber crystal and those who possess it. And then you can continue from there. That was about all I had.
Great. Well, so that sounds awesome. That's all you need, because
so
we don't
like,
need
we
that.
start in the crap. Like,
yes.
We start in the crap the way I actually think a good Star Wars movie should.
So we have the star wipe after the credits.
Yep.
The credits have or the crawl has rolled up off the screen. We see the wipe down to we go down, and then we see Luke and Leia's ship. Now here's the question for you, bro. Because my intent was, we're not bringing back Han Solo.
Is Han? What's with Han?
We're in the Millennium Falcon.
Because I love me some Han.
We're in the Millennium Falcon, but Han's dead.
Why? What happened? When did Han die?
Han died off screen in between the 2 movies, because that's how this series goes.
Cool.
General Solo died while defending. He was letting them escape. He sacrificed himself to let them escape.
I dig that.
Okay, so he's
does he sacrifice himself because of his unrequited, like his love for Leia?
I think because he's learned responsibility and he understands that Luke and Leia are the only hope for the galaxy at this point. Cool. So he's left behind, but Chewbacca is with them.
Okay.
And it's Luke, Leia, the droids, Chewbacca, and Hala. We still got Hala.
Okay.
So
who's playing Hala?
Well, are we talking in 1984?
Tina Turner, we got it.
Okay. All right. Is she too young at that point?
I mean, Tina Turner's always been like 99.
Okay, cool. So
I actually think Tina Turner is now in her 80s, right?
I don't know, man.
I think she.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah, I guess.
Which is amazing. She rocks.
So,
but I'm gonna say Tina Turner because I'm thinking about Mad Max.
So they're flying the Millennium Falcon. So they're getting blasted just like the ship at the beginning of the first episode is, where it's getting blasted on. There's Star Destroyers behind them shooting at them. But there's also like TIE fighters like blasting at them, and they're doing a lot of swoops and turns and stuff like that. And I think we can go directly into the asteroid field like we did in Empire Strikes Back. Like I think we can cherry pick a little bit. So we fly the Millennium Falcon into the asteroid field to lose them, but it's Chewbacca and Luke piloting because Luke is still really good. So the droids, Hala and the princess, are attempting to fix the hyperdrive because the hyperdrive isn't working.
Yeah, but then hyperdrive's not working, right? So Luke, having the good luck foot stuffed right up his butt, is like, I got it. We have another source of power here on the ship. Bing! Here's my kyber crystal. Because we have no rules as to how the kyber crystal's really used, right?
Cool.
So he's like, Hala, I know that you're force sensitive. I gotta stay here I gotta stay up here, like, pilot the ship because I'm a really good pilot. And also, I can feel Vader, right? And I don't want to be around the kyber crystal at the moment. Like, Vader is somewhere present, and he can't know that I've got it in direct possession in myself at the moment. So I want you to wiggle this into the hyperdrive because that's how technology works.
Right.
And we're going to use the kyber crystal to leap into hyperdrive.
Oh man. Okay.
So they do, right?
They do. They do. It sends them. They make their calculations.
Here comes the Dark Citadel.
They jump into hyperdrive.
Yeah.
But they overjump because the kyber crystal makes them too powerful.
Well, I was also thinking the kyber crystal, drawing from Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
They find out that the kyber crystal, while it's a powerful focus of force power.
Ooh, when they plug it into the hyperdrive, it takes them where it wants them to go.
Yes. It is intended to draw all of these force sensitives together in the Dark Citadel.
Oh man, is it like Highlander?
Yes. Yeah. So so it's like a port key for them, but they don't realize it, right?
Yeah.
So they pop out, like they think they're in overdrive or hyperdrive, whatever, for what seems like forever, right?
Okay.
And they pop out, bam, and they are floating in this like galactic, cosmic, gaseous dust above this vastly massive planet that, instead of being circular, is like all of these different polygon shapes.
Okay.
Because I just want it to be different. This is, we had Winter Planet, we had Summer Planet. I want Polygon Planet.
Oh, we have a slightly better budget than Splinter the Mind's Eye, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're back with a movie now. This is a movie.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
This is a movie. Okay, so they're floating. They're like, oh my gosh. Leia goes, I don't have a good feeling. I don't have a good feeling about this, Luke. And Luke goes,
oh man, somebody has a bad feeling about this?
Yep. And Luke goes, well, if this is where the kyber crystal wanted to bring us, then I guess we got to go check it out. And Hala goes, you're right, Luke, boy. You're the one with the force sensitivity. And then Chewbacca goes, so then take it. It's all yours now.
Okay. So everybody offloads. They're like, hey, Chewbacca, why don't you stay with the ship for right now? We're going to go explore. You can fix the hyperdrive, get it back, figure out see if you can figure out where we are on the navigation computer. Yeah. My cat wants up. There we go, buddy.
Mom's trying to eat my meatballs. Dude, have I got a twist for you with this story, too? I can't wait. I can't wait.
You know what's really funny is I bet it's going to be the same twist that I was thinking.
It might. I have got one because we are fixing all the problems of Star Wars.
So Luke, Leia, the droids, and Hala go take a look around the planet. I think. So what's going to happen is as they get out of the Millennium Falcon while Chewie's fixing it, because we always leave Chewie behind to fix the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, yeah, that's really important to me too. It's really important to me that Chewie gets left behind.
Okay, cool. So as they're going, they're going through the forest and stuff like that, we're going to cut back to the Executor, Darth Vader's ship. he's gonna get into an argument with a Imperial commander about the fact that he's wasting Imperial resources.
Yes,
yes. Just because we need some Darth Vader choking somebody porn,
yes.
we're just gonna put that in. He just force chokes that dude, and then he tells, he's gonna say that he knows where they should go because he's gonna have like a moment of reaction, kind of like Obi-Wan did.
Yeah,
the destroying of Alderaan.
Yeah. He's touched the Kyber crystal now, right?
Yes.
He's touched it. It's left a mark on him, right? Mm-hmm. It's left its essence on him. So he has an idea. He might not be able to get there yet, but he's got an idea as to where he needs to go.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're gonna cut back to Luke Boy.
But before we cut back to Luke Boy, we've got a picture. We've got Darth Vader's boots, right, on the ground, and we've got the dead Imperial next to him, and he says, I can't do a Darth Vader voice, and he's like, I have a feeling as to where we need to go next. But if we're going to be successful, we need to send someone other than me. You know who you need to go get. And so he sends one of the other Imperial like bootlickers off, and he's like, yes, my lord. And so he goes to get someone, and the next thing that you get, like you know that he's sending someone else after Luke, not himself yet. Go ahead.
Also, in our world, there's no emperor, is there?
No.
Darth Vader's pretty much it, right? Like there's a government system. End all. There's a governmental system, but he's kind of like their head cop.
Yeah, he's the be all end all.
Yeah.
He is the emperor. Whatever.
Yeah,
he's done.
He's General Lord Dark Lord Vader.
General Walmart assistant Grandma Vader.
I said he's a cop. Like, I'm sorry, he's not a cop. Like,
I can't. My nose keeps itching.
That's okay. My cat's trying to eat my headphones. So we jump back to the planet. We cut back to the planet. Luke and Leia and Hala and the droids they're walking, and all of a sudden Luke gets a little bit ahead, and what kind of planet is this?
He gets what?
He gets a little bit ahead.
He gets what?
A little bit ahead.
From who?
Leia. He gets a little bit ahead of Leia.
Okay.
So anyway, what kind of planet is this? Is that your motorcycle?
No, but can we just call the episode Wee Woo, Wee Woo? Can that be the title?
What happened?
It was just a fire engine.
Oh, I didn't hear it at all.
My life's on fire and I'm dying.
You're also very far away from your microphone.
Sorry, I'm better now.
Okay, cool.
This cat wants to eat my meatballs and I can't let it happen.
Oh man, hold your cat up again. Hold your cat up.
I can't. She's over there now. Oh man, you got your cat too. I can't eat my meatballs, man. My meatballs are for me and me alone.
Stop shoving your face the wrong place. It's weird. So, Luke, what kind of planet is this that we've landed on?
I'm thinking desert. That's what's coming.
Another desert?
Yeah, because we only have so many places we can shoot on Earth.
Gotcha.
And it's either going to be New Zealand.
Like a rocky. I was just thinking sort of like a rocky, like barren, not really like desert.
So like out
planet.
west American, right? Like out Western American, like with the with where a river would have like a Grand Canyon.
But maybe there's a little bit Mustafarian. Like there's a little bit of lava. It's a very volcanic planet.
Cool. Okay.
And
yeah.
So as they're walking, Luke and R2D2 drop, and they fall through a hole that opens up in the ground.
No.
So they're separated, and they're like, "Hey, Luke, what do you want to do?" And he's like, "I don't know. We were walking that way towards something over there. I feel like we need to keep going in that direction. So you go that way, and R2 and I will try to find a way out of these caverns that way, but keep going."
Okay.
And if you run into any trouble, you should get back to the ship.
Yeah. So at this point, we flash back to they're traveling, right?
Yes, they're walking.
Time doesn't matter in the Star Wars universe. Hyperdrives work, whatever. So Chewbacca's back fixing the ship. He's back there fixing the ship.
Yeah. Complaining about how he's always stuck fixing the ship.
Complaining about he's stuck fixing the ship. And then he hears outside a boom, 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 boom on the side of the ship, right? and he grabs his bowcaster because Chewbacca doesn't mess around, but Chewbacca knows his stuff. He steps out and he sees this. He opens up the hatch and steps down, and he sees this figure standing out in darkness, and a blaster bolt just flies right forward, right past Chewbacca, and in the redness of the blaster bolt, we see a helmet with a crease down the middle of it and an antenna and a cape behind us, right? And Chewbacca just immediately fires. Okay. He's like, Chewbacca pulls the Han in this, where he doesn't question, he doesn't go anything, he just sees bad figure, and he's like, bam, 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 because that's awesome. Like, can we have more characters like Star-Lord and Han Solo who just shoot, man, just do it. When they know there's the bad thing happening, they just take it out.
Oh, man, when Star-Lord just blew up, shot Ego.
Ego, so cool.
So awesome.
So Chewbacca fires back. You find out that he gets into a combat engagement with none other than Boba Fett. Because Boba Fett sucks in the movies. In the original movies, he sucks farts. Boba Fett sucks. He's the worst. He's dumb. His jetpack sucks. Everybody who likes Boba Fett, go eat one because he's terrible. So in this movie, my intent is specifically to make Boba Fett a badass. And how is he a badass right at the beginning? We gotta hate this dude from the start. What does he do? He gets up on Chewie, puts a blaster against his head, blam, pulls the trigger. Chewie is dead.
Oh, wow.
Chewie is dead, right? After some reasonable combat. But Splinter of the Mind's Eye set up a precedent that people can die.
Yeah.
Especially people who aren't human. So, Chewie, blam, right in the skull. We're not talking from distance either. We're talking like point blank. Boba Fett ain't messing around. And he also doesn't have a dumb name like Boba Fett. He's called
Mandalorian.
He's called, I guess he's called Boba Fett. I was going to call him the Man, but I couldn't figure out a name, so I guess he's Boba Fett. Does he ever need a name?
Fett. Does he need a name right now?
No, maybe he's not.
He's just the bounty hunter.
Right, he's just the bounty hunter. So, like, Chewbacca, dead, man. Dead.
Wow, okay. So do you think that Leia and Hala and C-3PO, they turn around to go back to the ship to, like, because they don't know what to do, and they find Chewie's body?
Yeah, that's so brutal.
Okay.
That's so brutal.
Cool.
That's so brutal.
Cool.
So the big question that comes out is, like, how did Boba Fett get there so quickly if he was sent by Darth Vader? I have no idea. We're going to call this continuity error.
It's fine. Maybe it's been hours, though.
Maybe time dilates in a weird way, right? Like, he was sent... Yeah. How did he get there? Well, the reason Darth Vader actually sent him to a specific series of these coordinates that he sensed before he went, because he needed to establish enough time for his entire fleet to go out there. And this time, Darth Vader isn't waiting for Luke to destroy anything. In fact, he has decided to create a Death Star out of Star Destroyers. He's making a huge ball of Star Destroyers in perfect, like,
but all of their tips align and create a giant satellite dish because
and that's
they're
what
triangles.
He's waiting for, right? And he's gonna stay there with it, right? He's gonna stay there with it, and he's gonna transport them once he knows that it's possible to be followed, to follow the Kyber traces. The Kyber chemtrails can be followed.
Okay, so then Boba Fett makes contact with them.
Yeah,
and maybe that's his only job, is just to, like, he kills Chewie because he's a nasty. But his job is actually just to make sure that you can get there. Once he's made contact with them, he's to report back to Vader.
Yeah.
So he sends contact back to Vader, but then he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna mess with these guys." And he's like, "Hey, Vader, you can keep your payment. I'll tell you what, if you can beat me here, you can beat me to Luke, then you can kill him."
Yeah, I like that, because that means Boba Fett's still a badass. He's doing it on his own terms.
Yeah, he's
and also he's like, but also I want the woman, because Leia's got to be put in a really awkward situation.
Oh man, I hate it. All right, so,
me too. But she's got to get on. She's gonna be put on Slave One. Bam, he's gonna be flying out of there. Because he is on Slave One, right?
Yes, Slave One is his ship.
Can we not call it Slave One anymore?
No,
Can we call
I
it
know. I don't.
Can we call it Can we call it the oppression?
Yeah, I guess the oppression one.
Sure.
I mean, it's really hard. In my head, I just keep going to the Razor Crest because I keep thinking about the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
so I mean, but in this world, the Mandalorian doesn't exist yet. So maybe,
right, not yet, because this is a really thinly developed world compared to the one that is in that.
So let's go. So Luke, all this is happening, and this is all going to be fleshed out vaguely. We don't need to tell the story exactly perfectly. But so Luke follows these caverns, and he like maybe does some jumping over some lava, and has to use the Force to like pull R2, because we also learn at this point that Luke's been actually with the Kyber crystal. He's been able to reach Obi-Wan Kenobi's ghost a lot more easy. So his training has gone better, and Luke's actually like a functional Jedi Knight at this point. He's not just kind of like,
he's black suits Luke.
Yeah, I think so. He's at least after, like gray suit. He's at least past gray suit.
I like to think that this is a Luke too who is maybe doesn't have as much of a connection to his moral center because there is no Yoda in his past.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that he's a bad dude. Like, Luke's got to be a good guy, but Luke's a little willing to go dark.
Yeah, I mean, Luke doesn't necessarily. I mean, Obi-Wan's been training him.
Yeah.
But like, let's face it, he doesn't have to be like a paragon of 100% rightness. I mean, he can still be that Luke Skywalker in the black outfit. Luke was never exactly 100% squeaky clean. He did a lot of nasty stuff on Tatooine at the beginning of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, he force chokes dudes. He just is chopping wood with that lightsaber left and right, cutting dudes' arms off and stuff. So they finally make their way underground to the entrance of the what is it, the dark Citadel?
Yes, Dark Citadel, right?
So,
and in my head, the entire planet is the Dark Citadel.
Okay, all right.
It's not like, because we're still talking about these like environments that are whole planets. This is like going back to that Magic reference, Ravnica, the world city. Only this is a Citadel city. Like, this is a Citadel, whole planet Citadel.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
so
there's lots of red dots on it too.
He finds this chamber, right? And he goes in, and we're looking at what looks like a meteorite, kind of, but it's like a giant rock.
Yeah.
But it's pitted all over the place, and he goes up to it, and he starts like the crystal sort of starts getting this resonance. With this meteorite. And so he pulls it out, and he realizes that the meteor and the crystal, like, they want to be one. So it wants to go into it. So he goes ahead and he lets it slip in, and there's a moment of like energy transference between him and this
meteorite presence. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so out of the shadows behind him walks another figure, and it ignites a lightsaber. And so he turns to face this guy, and this dude's got a red lightsaber. So they're having a fight there, and it's a pretty intense lightsaber, like sword fight, like
not like a karate fight.
No, it's like a broadsword fight.
It's like broadswords, like, and they're like falling back, and they're hitting him again. Yep. And there's no finesse. They're like dragging lightsabers across the floor, leaving creases. Kicks are going on. People are getting set into these pipes. Steam is coming out.
Yeah.
Luke's sweating. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, there's no pipes because are there pipes? Are we in an actual built?
You gotta have
thing?
Plumbing on a planet like this,
all right?
Cool.
Right? That's cool.
The whole city world.
Is it a city? Is it a dark city world? Okay,
you take dumps even in a dark city world.
Okay, cool. No sweat. So at one point, he force pushes this guy back. The guy's head slams against the wall, and his helmet that he's wearing snaps off. And it's Galen. The apprentice.
Oh yeah. Like
Sam
Star
Witwer.
Killer.
Yeah, it's Star Killer. It's the original Star Killer.
My favorite non-canon
exactly.
cool character.
I know Sam Witwer's not alive at this point, but what I'm saying is I would just love to see more of Sam Witwer's. I would love to see The Apprentice back in Star Wars somehow.
I would too.
So this guy isn't necessarily the apprentice. He's actually the spirit of all the Jedi who came before that had already fought
coalesced
and lost, and their consciousnesses were all absorbed into this Kyber meteorite.
Okay, cool.
So
cool.
Luke defeats him, and he's got him on the ground, but he doesn't kill him. Instead, he shows him mercy.
Yeah.
And so this character's like, oh, well, okay, you get it, and you understand what we're about. So now I pass on to you the power of everyone that came before you. So now Luke is actually the last Jedi.
And then, but then as well, before he perishes, before this Sam Witwer,
he's not even real. He's like a Force vision, though.
He's like a Force vision.
Yeah.
Thanks. Just before he goes, he says, "But if all Jedi who have come before me are in me," because I want to say that, he says, "Now that you've activated me, or now that you've awakened me,
I am the Force."
There is. I was actually going to go that direction and anthropomorphize the Force. He says, "There is one who was once a Jedi who now knows exactly where to come."
Yeah.
And so right then is when Darth Vader, back on his ship, gets this like this own like a vision glimmer because he used to be a Jedi, right?
Yeah.
So we're accepting that Anakin was canon.
Okay.
In this story.
Yeah.
That you find at least
That
so
Sith,
he gets
Sith is probably a former Jedi.
Yes, and he gets this vision, and then he knows exactly where he's got to bring the Star Destroyer Death Star.
Yeah.
And he's like full speed ahead, and they put in the coordinates because I don't know what's kept them from getting there at this point, but we're just going to find there's a pseudoscience reason.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to the Dark Citadel. So this is the aforementioned siege in the Dark Citadel. It's not that Luke and Leia and anybody else are sieging the Dark Citadel.
Nice.
It's the siege of the Dark Citadel is Darth Vader and the Empire converging down. And this, this has got some threads of Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi in it. Because I feel like we can't escape these too much, but I feel like we're definitely doing it way better. So
cool. So I guess at this point, what's going to happen is Luke is going to run his ass back to the Millennium Falcon.
Chewie's dead.
Leia, I think what we should do is in some way, we need to give Leia the honor of taking out Boba Fett.
Okay.
So while Luke's plot is happening here, and there's the Vader plot up here at the Millennium Falcon, they're playing this game of cat and mouse, and maybe like Hala's been injured.
Because she sucks. She's gonna die.
She sucks, and C-3PO's just C-3POing around. So while Luke and R2 are rushing back, she's having this game of cat and mouse with Boba Fett. But it turns out like Leia's A, really kind of badass, but B, that moment that Luke like defeats the Starkiller.
Yeah.
This wave of Force energy has come out, and it awakens her latent abilities.
Her latent Jedi abilities.
Yep.
So like this is almost like a Slayer moment, season 8 in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Which, if you didn't read it, that's okay because it's not very good. Mm-hmm. There's a moment where Buffy activates all of the Slayers around the entire world, and like awakens all of the latent Slayers. So now all of the Jedi have been awakened.
Yes.
But including those who have shifted. So but I would also think there's a balance of the Force, right? Yeah. So it means all of those who have a dark sensitivity to the Force are also being triggered and awakened. So this isn't just a siege of the Dark Citadel by Vader. We're also going to find others who are like Force sensitive that have dark desires. They're all of a sudden like ding, they all know where to go, and they must go.
Yeah.
So you've got like these scoundrels who are coming out of nowhere, right? And they're flying into the Dark Citadel, and they're getting blasted by the Empire, and they're blasting the Empire, and there's a huge siege, and we're talking like whole like corporations that are run by people who have Dark Force sensitivity, and they could have been Sith, but they're not, and they don't even know. Everybody's converging on the Dark Citadel for the siege of the Dark Citadel, and now we're shifting into Act 3. This has gone on way too long, and I'm so sorry, but I'm so excited.
We're gonna seal this up pretty quick, though. So Luke, and the gang, after Leia has outsmarted Boba Fett, and let's say maybe Luke the entire time. Oh, no, I got it. Okay, I got it. So the final moment where Boba Fett has gotten onto the Millennium Falcon, where their game of cat and mouse is over, and he's got her, right? And he's like, we're gonna sit down right here at this chess table, and I'm gonna have my gun on you, princess, and we're gonna talk, cause you're what I came for, really. I don't care about anything else. You're wanted. You're worth a lot of money. The two of them sit down, and she's like, okay, so tell me about it. She reaches down behind her, pulls out Han's blaster, and shoots Boba Fett. Yup.
Yes,
Blow,
right there, right
blast
underneath
him.
the chess table, right?
Yup,
yes.
exactly.
The minute you said she sat down at the chess table, I was like, I know where this is going.
Yup.
I know where this is going. And she brings the gun up, right, when she's done, because it's got to be a little cheesy. She brings the gun up, and she looks at it. Mm-hmm. And then she goes, Han shot first. And winks at the camera. No, actually, no. But she like holds it, and there's a moment of thought, right? But this is now like her blaster. It's become hers.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
awesome,
next time we see her, she's not just like, she's gone from
like, bam, bam.
like wearing like, I'm wearing like white princess robes and crap like that.
To wear basically Han Solo's clothes.
Yeah, dude, she's got like a vest and a blaster at her side, and she looks like a badass scoundrel. But also, Luke's been working on his own lightsaber, not just his dad's lightsaber. Yeah. So she pulls that bad boy out, and she's like, I've got this sweet green lightsaber.
I got this cool laser sword too.
Yeah, I got a laser sword too. And so Luke gets back and he's like, what happened? Chewie's dead. I'm sad. Who's that guy? You killed him? Okay, let's get up there. We got to kill Darth Vader. She's like, okay, guess what? I got this blaster and I got this lightsaber. Can I use it? And he's like, sure, I guess. I mean, it's not quite done, so it's going to look kind of funny. Maybe it looks a little bit like Kylo Ren's lightsaber, you know what I mean? But like green. And so they get up and they pilot up to the death satellite,
and they're zooming through
all these other ships, and they're fighting. And maybe we see like the Ghost, and we see like some other famous Star Wars ships. Maybe we even see like a Star Trek ship in there, because sometimes we love our Easter eggs, right?
Yeah. And at this point too, just as they're over the Dark Citadel, like we see this flicker of red. And what we realize is that from the darkness coalesces this massive circular ship, and the flicker of red is the laser points coming together for all of these different Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
And granted, some of these Star Destroyers, like, they're not flying like this, right? They're not flying like that. Like, some of them have to fly like that.
Absolutely.
Which is super weird.
It's space, and they've got afterburners and stuff.
They can do it.
It's fine. There's thrusters. That's what they're for.
And Vader sends out over his intercom. He's like, I don't care if that's the Dark Citadel down there. Like, he knows it's called that. He's like, I don't care if that's the Dark Citadel. But the only thing stronger than possessing the Kyber crystal is being able to destroy it, along with the one who took it from me. And I'm like, bam, that's badass. So he's like about to blow this whole place up, right? Mm-hmm. And so Luke and them, they're flying up there, and there's a few like initial shots from the Star Destroyer, the Death Star Star Destroyer, Death Star, that like zoom right past them, right? And we're talking like decimate whole rows of ships, just boom, like deleted. They're done, vapor, nothing. We're not even talking about explosions. Just like this laser could cut the balls off a flea and leave nothing except ballless flea.
So you're saying it's accurate?
Super
as
accurate.
Hell. And
he is going to take aim. He knows where to aim. Right down onto that meteorite that Sam Witwer came out.
Yeah, right. The Witwer meteor.
The Witwer meteor.
Yeah. So he does that.
How we're basically we have no idea what we're doing.
So he's going to destroy this thing. So they fly and Luke knows which ship Vader is on in this whole array of ships. So they fly the Millennium Falcon, and like it's still not quite like 100%. So they fly in and they kind of do like a skid crash landing into the landing bay, because for some reason you can always get in the landing bay of these Imperial ships. I don't know how they got.
They crack open the torpedo vault. They shove Chewie's headless body into it and just launch his ass through a door. Right.
So we get to the ship, right, and you know that they're basically blasting and running their way through this ship. Luke's using like amazing force powers. He's literally just like blasting whole hallways out, like open, like blasting steel with force pushes. I thought you meant to say blasting whole hog. He's blasting a whole hog through this.
He's blasting a whole hog through these guys.
So he's like cutting holes in steel with just like by force pushing and things like that.
Yeah.
And so he and Leia are racing their way through, and they get to Darth Vader's like chamber,
dark chamber,
like his throne room.
They get to his sphincter of his mind's eye.
Yeah, man. And so they basically, it's like a 2-on-1 fight. And even though Luke is like this, really grown into his powers now and has been augmented by the Kyber crystal, and Leia's kind of like turned into this. Oh shit! The Force is awoken in her a little bit, and we're doing this 2-on-1 fight where she's sometimes like using Han's blaster and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm so into this.
Yeah. That like it's still, they're still sort of outmatched. So Vader takes a random swipe and hits Leia, cuts Leia's gun hand off.
Dang!
And the blaster goes skittering across the ground into this dark corner, and we don't realize it yet, but the fight's going not too great for Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
And suddenly we see a hand pick up this blaster. And we're like, I wonder what that is. That's weird. And then Vader's like taunting them, and he's like, hey, idiots, guess what? You thought that friends were your strength. Well, they're your weakness. And either give up now, or not only will both of you be destroyed, but your other friend too. And it turns out that Vader's had Han Solo the entire time.
No!
And Han Solo is chained up in this chamber. But guess what?
Carbonite?
No, he's just chained up.
Okay.
He picks up the blaster and shoots Vader in the shoulder. And this time Vader's distracted. So Luke and Leia both stab him with their lightsabers and just go and then like cut him in half.
Right?
Yep.
But at this point too, like, and just before Vader is about to perish, right? They're like, we gotta see this guy's face. That's what they say. They're like, we gotta see his face, and they pull it off. And what they find underneath is old man Luke. Because this really cements the fact that Luke is actually his son, right? It's old Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And he says, what I didn't want to tell you was that the Kyber crystal doesn't... so stupid. He's like, the Kyber crystal doesn't just manipulate the Force.
It manipulates
time. And
one of the kids upstairs was just like, what?
I am what you would have become, and you needed to kill me so that way you knew you had to be something different. I am your father, Luke, but I am also you. And it's like this weird time shift, right? And
did Luke bang his own mom?
He definitely did. And he... I don't know. No, but he means like, I am your father, like I'm birthing in you a new thought.
Okay.
Like,
all right, cool.
Like,
I'm the father of your thought.
I'm not legitimately like your seminal
I'm your thoughts.
Producer.
I didn't like thoughts that
I didn't like blast into your mom.
Into you.
I don't even know who your mom is. I do. I didn't blast into her like this.
We don't know each other. This is dumb.
He pulls a real anyway, it's old man Luke, and he's like, killing me keeps you from being like me in the future. And with the power of the Kyber crystal now, you can undo all of this chaos.
Yes.
And so Luke pulls out of his back pocket this now Sam Witwer shaped kyber crystal. And Sam Witwer looks at him and goes, gives him a wink. That doesn't happen in the movie. But he like holds it and he focuses it. And as he does it, like he stops, like Neo, all of the lasers in space and all the explosions. Lots of people died by now. But then he says over the intercom, "Look, idiots," and he just stop it.
And there's your Star Wars.
Bam!
Congratulations.
Star Wars is done.
Boom. Takes off. Story over.
Story's over. Finished.
Except it's not finished because we know that there's other Jedi and other bad Jedi out there in the universe.
Then we see at the very end in the stinger afterwards, right? So the Dark Citadel falls dormant, right?
Okay.
Dark Citadel is like it with the destruction of Darth Vader and Luke, Sam Witwer in his spirit, like Obi-Wan coalesces and is like, the Force is in all of them. Not in us. So we need to fall dormant. And so they fall dormant with the kyber crystal and they put it to sleep. But no more Force ghosts can ever exist now because all Force ghosts are doing is they're like holding the kyber crystal dormant. So now the Force is just in people. It's not midichlorians. It's not the kyber crystal. It's nothing. It's just in people. It's your heart.
Oh man, it's your heart.
It's your heart. But then, and like the whole world becomes just this like stone carapace, and this is the Dark Citadel where the Force originated. But in the stinger after the credits, you see a flicker of red from a piece of crystal laying on the floor. And you see this single silver glove just come up. And you know that's Boba Fett's glove, and it slaps down on that kyber crystal.
Nice.
And trilogy is done, and Boba Fett's actually gonna be a badass. He writes badass across his chest with the kyber crystal. Just badass.
I'm a big fan of us. I'm a big fan of the writing that we just did. I'm a big fan of every. Look, I'm just a big fan of what we're doing right now. Look, everybody's going to listen to it. They're going to ask us why we didn't write Star Wars.
Be like, I got to know the next thing. I got to know the sequel. Well, guess what? This garbage book is done. It's boring. Don't read it. It doesn't matter anymore. Splinter in the Mind's Eye was not good.
It was
Alan
trash.
Dean Foster got way better. 1978 sucked. What a weird year. Next week, we're sliding into even more garbage.
Do you want to tell them about it, or should I?
Go for it, my friend.
Hey, friends, guess what? We're gonna shift gears a little bit.
We're going to read something that's really going to make you want to crap your britches.
We're going to go ahead and take a look at The Adventures of Tom Stranger, Interdimensional Insurance Agent by...
And if that sounds as amazing to you as it is, as it should, you suck.
We're leaping into the hot libertarian trash here with Larry Correia. This is an entire book that is
2 hours long on Audible.
It's 2 hours long on Audible, narrated by hot trash person Adam Baldwin. And it's just a book about making fun of the stuff that Larry Correia doesn't like. I was going to say the government, but it's just stuff Larry Correia doesn't like. He basically calls it dumb for 2 hours.
In this case, you can get, I believe you can get The Adventure of Tom Stranger, Intergalactic Insurance Agent. I think you can get it for free on Audible.
I don't think it's free. It's like, it costs, I looked it up earlier. It's like $6 or something.
Find it somewhere. You can find it. You
I
can
don't
probably
know.
find it on YouTube.
Do you torrent? I don't know if you torrent.
Is that even a thing that happens anymore?
I don't know. Don't torrent.
Don't get the eBay.
That's illegal.
You can probably find it on you.
Torrent hit.
Torrent. I just knocked my hat off. God, my head is really bald. So I feel like it's only 2 hours long.
Then you don't even have to read it or listen to it.
Because we're just going to talk about what pieces of garbage Larry Correia and Alec Baldwin are. Adam Baldwin.
I mean, Alec Baldwin he called his daughter a pig, so let's be honest. Yeah. Alec Baldwin still, I don't care whether he had like a comeback and made some great Trump imitations. That guy's still like a shitbag too.
Like a bag of farts.
Let's not act like just because he
makes funny idiots.
Yeah, that he isn't verbally abusive to his family members.
I know, right? So we're going to read Tom Stranger next week. But something else, another feature that we're going to be bringing next week to this, and this is following up on a promise that we talked about last week, is that we were finding it, obviously bringing attention to these, for the most part, super white libertarian authors, whether, maybe isn't super helpful in this era that we're in right now.
Right.
So what we're going to be doing is we're sort of going to be doing some pre-recorded ads for stories that are good science fiction fantasy stories, preferably written by people of color or authors that you may not have heard of before that you can access somewhere online. So that way, sort of like karma balancing the fact that we're reading this diarrhea by these idiots with bad ideas, with the fact that here's some other stuff that you can read if you haven't heard of them before. Some of you might have. And some you might have not.
Why didn't we start just by calling this podcast Reading Stuff by Idiots with Bad Ideas?
Reading diarrhea by idiots with bad ideas.
Oh, man. Hey, look, guys, if you know what time it is, great. If you don't know what time it is, let me tell you, I'm going to need you to check out our website. It's www.thequarantinebookclub.com. Make sure you add a "the" on the front of it because there's another quarantine book club out there.
It's a lot more boring.
Oh, man, it's just like boring interviews with people that you don't care about. It's nothing fun. It sucks. You can also find us pretty much wherever there's podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbay, I think. It's awesome. Check out our
Spuncher, Muncher, Stitcher, Witcher,
Sweetcast,
Fixer,
Needle Pine. It's there. We're on everything.
Needle Pine, Sweetcast, and Needle Pine. They sound almost so possible.
If you got a chance, rate us and review it. As always, I'll ask you. It helps us out. It gets us up further so that maybe more people will listen to us. If you're watching and you're on the YouTube version of this, hit the subscribe and likes and all that stuff. You apparently it helps if we say that. I don't know. That's how internet marketing
gets in your
works.
little baby brains.
You can check
gets
us out.
Gets in little baby brains and fixes them.
We could do the Colin Keys thing. There's actually these guys who are like, are you ready for the like and subscribe challenge? I bet you can't do it in 5, 4, 3, 2, and they tell little kids that are like basically, hey, we're gonna trick you into liking our video by telling you can't do it in 5 seconds.
That's
Bet you
weird.
Can't.
If I did that with my underwear, there'd be a problem.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I bet you can't like my underwear in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Holy crap! Wait, don't do that. That's bad.
All right, guys, check us out on Facebook. Also, check us out on Instagram at the Quarantine Book Club Podcast. I think that's about all that stuff that I have to say. Next week, Tom Stranger. I'm sorry. Don't listen to it. Just listen to us bitch about it.
It sucks.
It really does.
I think I tried to read it unironically like 5 years ago, and I got like a half an hour into it. It was like, I would rather have crippling bowel pain than
it's
read
the
this.
worst political satire garbage.
It's not, because it's not
you can't
good.
even count it satire. It's like, oh, guess what? Joe Biden's a doo-doo head.
It's, just so you know, making your own money is your own money, and if you don't have your own money, you're an idiot.
You want to go to space and be a Baldwin?
That's fine.
Whatever. Get out of here, man. Just get out of here.
Just get out of here, man. The last thing I want to say is that I'm super excited. I know what it is. But tomorrow, you're probably going to go see our Mama. Right? You're going to see our Mama. There's a present over there from our nephew Caleb.
Oh, cool.
He specifically, as a fan of the podcast, and also as I guess a fan of us, is I guess we're okay uncles. I guess
no, we're trash
cool
uncles.
Nephew.
We're trash uncles who never do good stuff.
He created something for us. And so
it's a surprise, so I can't see it. So can you show if I cover up my screen so that I can't see what you're doing?
No, we'll share it next week.
Okay,
we'll share it next week. Because honestly, I think there is a good chance that it could be something that could help us develop a new cover for our podcast.
Cool. I was gonna say, is it mouthwash so that like we can wash our mouths out after reading these horrible books, get the gross taste out of our mouth?
It might be. But yeah, it's really cool. So. Shout out to Caleb. I'm excited actually I'm excited for you to get yours.
Cool, man. Are you ready to call it?
So, I'm ready to call it. Let's
All
peace
right,
out.
bro. Hey, everybody, love each other and do the work.
Obi-Wan coalesces and is like, the Force is in all of them. Not in us. So we need to fall dormant. And so they fall dormant with the kyber crystal and they put it to sleep. But no more Force ghosts can ever exist now, because all Force ghosts are doing is they're like holding the kyber crystal dormant. So now the Force is just in people. It's not midichlorians. It's not the kyber crystal. It's nothing. It's just in people. It's your heart.
Oh, man, it's your heart.
It's your heart. But then... And like the whole world becomes just this like stone carapace, and this is the Dark Citadel where the Force originated. But in the stinger after the credits, you see a flicker of red from a piece of crystal laying on the floor. And you see this single silver glove just come up. And you know that's Boba Fett's glove. And it slaps down on that kyber crystal.
Nice.
And Trilogy is done!